As part of NewsX's Sexual Predator Study campaign, today on Statistically Speaking, we conducted a survey to understand what the people of the country feel about NewsX's suggestion to conduct the world's largest psychiatric study of convicted rapists and find patterns to ensure rapes in the future can be averted in our country. Let's start off this discussion, but before I discuss this, let's take a look at the numbers, the statistics, and find out if the people actually understand, are they actually taking a look at these practical ways of ensuring that the percentage of rapes in our country come down. So here's a look at the first question that we posed to the people. Do you think that rapists are mentally sick people? There are 46%, a vehement majority, in fact 46%, which is only second to no, that have said that yes, rapists are mentally ill people. 53% of the people who took the survey said that no, they are not, and just a minuscule 1% said that they cannot make their mind on it. The next question that we asked was, should convicted rapists be made to undergo mandatory psychiatric analysis? 77% of the people, you have said that yes, there should be a psychiatric analysis that should be done of the convicted rapists. 1% people say that they can't talk about, they can't really make up their mind about it. 22% of the people feel that there is no need for such an analysis to be had. Question number 3 that was asked of the people who took this survey was, has time come for India to conduct the world's largest psychiatric study of convicted rapists? A vehement 79% of you have said that it is now the need of the hour. The time has come of actually conducting the world's largest psychiatric study of convicted rapists. 19% of you feel that it is not necessary. 2% don't really have an opinion about this. Question number 4 that we asked of our viewers who have taken the survey: should India rope in foreign expertise such as people who have worked with the FBI to understand the motives and their patterns and the psyche of sexual predators? 64% of you, majority of you, have said that yes, it is important, in fact downright imperative, that such moves, such acts be done. 31% of you feel there is no such need. 5% of you feel that they once again feel they have no opinion on the subject. Let's take a look at question number 5, which was posed to our viewers. Should brain mapping via MRIs be done of rapists to scientifically understand neurological issues leading to such crimes? A large majority of you have once again shown support to this study. 76% of you have said that brain mapping can be hugely helpful in identifying potential crimes of rape. No. Many of you, 19% of you, in fact a smaller percentage, have said that this will not really help in stopping, in averting such crimes. All right, on that note, after having taken a look at this response that has come, where a majority of people, of our viewers, who have said that yes, there has to be a study for sexual predators, there has to be brain mapping, there are MRIs that have to be conducted, there should be teams roped in from other countries who have had increasing success in stopping rapes and halting rapes, in ensuring that the safety of security of the women is then ensured. Let's start off our discussion. Joining me on the telecast are my panelists, and I'm going to start with Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, the first question, it's heartening to know that at least there is a possible solution to the rampant incidents of brutal rapes and murders that take place in our country. We have started this, initiated this campaign. There is full hope that the policy makers, the lawmakers are informed about this. These suggestions, recommendations are brought to their notice, and then they take strong action. Then they ensure and have the political will to bring this about, implement this, and ensure that the women are safeguarded in our country. Now, how do you think this movement can be taken further? Okay, let me also pose this question to Dr. Jayanti Datta, who is a clinical psychologist. The same question to you, ma'am.
Study, I would support any kind of investigations if that can throw light on the prevention of such crimes. But I don't agree with you when you say it is most of your respondents you claimed supported a psychiatric kind of an evaluation. I would rather say the investigations should be more on a psychological components, you know. There, as I said in my earlier interview also, everybody cannot indulge in this kind of a violent act of gratifying their sexual desires and rape. Now, when you say psychiatric, you are already predisposing, you are already having a preamble that, well, they are mentally, psychologically, psychiatrically, they are ill people.
Right.
When under the provision of the legal system, what I know of is if a person commits a crime under psychiatric kind of a breakdown, then the person should not be brought to the task. You know, before you hang a person for capital punishment, you have to make sure, I've been party to this kind of a study, you have to ensure that psychiatrically the patient is absolutely normal. So I don't agree with you when you say psychiatrically. No. Psychological, yes, because when you try to study the persona of these violent rapists, you will find there are a lot of dynamisms. As far as bringing the foreign personnel and training the personnel of our country, the country, as I said before, what study, what investigations I have done, what personal experiences I have gathered by interacting with these violent rapists may not be very large in number, but certainly there are certain dynamisms. You see, either they have had a very brutal childhood, they have had a psychopathic environment in the family. Psychopaths, yes, they are. All these rapists, you will find they have a pathological tendency. Their psyche is polluted. They don't behave in a normal manner. They have impulse control problems. And when you talk to them, most of these rapists, you know, they have no remorse.
Yeah.
They don't feel they have done something so violent, so brutal, so heinous. No, they don't have. This kind of blunting of feelings for others, yes, it's a common phenomena among these violent rapists. That is why the Shraddha's rapist could still have her bodies in the body parts in the refrigerator and was patronizing, having affair with another woman sitting in the same room, because they are remorseless. They are used to this violence. And 90% of these cases which I have studied, they have a history of violent abuses. They have been abused. Now, one thing I would again take this opportunity to emphasize on, that is the punishment. The punishment is so delayed, unfortunately, there is no punishment. And the criminal psyche doesn't understand that when you give the punishment at a much later stage. So what happened to Nirvaya's perpetrators? You see, the day they were hanged, even that day early morning, I spoke to the person who hanged them. I had an opportunity to interact with him. I had been interacting with Nirvaya's mother also. Now, they were remorseless. They did not realize what's going to happen. When they realized early morning, then they started changing their, behavioral pattern. So this is the scenario. So the first and foremost thing, if you really want, now these kind of rapists are not only raping the teenagers or the women, they are brutalizing our children also. Believe me, I feel a rapist is a worse criminal than a murderer.
Yeah.
When you murder a person, the life is pumped off. You see, he doesn't have to die 10,000 deaths every day. When you rape a child, the child is not only brutalized physically, psychologically, the person has to go on fighting the battle of survival every day. And you know the humiliation? Unfortunately, most of the parents come and ask me, हमारी बच्चे के साथ क्या क्यों हुआ? Why did they have to rape my girl only? Do you think there is something wrong with my girl? And umpteen number of times you see there've been interviews and people said, yes, the woman has to be blamed because she was scantily clothed. Do you think Western countries, when you have the swimsuit wearing, they are enjoying the sunbathing in the beaches, you have the rapists there? No. Because you see, I've gathered the information about Middle East, I've gathered the information about China, and there the punishment is prompt. And you know, punishment, as I said before, it is, I will reiterate again, punishment is not only given to the perpetrator, it is a message to the society that dare not do this again. Where is that punishment in our country? Where have you got an exemplary punishment even after Nirbhaya, after Shraddha, after Nikki? Now this girl, there is still, all the organizations are involved. Everybody, you see, we take to media, we howl, we shout, we say it has to stop. But where is the punishment? Why do you take 15 days, 18 days, 8 years time to penalize such heinous criminals?
Absolutely.
And you leave them free?
Absolutely.
I think the study any day, you've been asking this repeatedly, I would welcome the study. But mind you, with a caveat, I don't think it's a psychiatric problem. Neurological, yes. Psychological, yes. Social dynamics, yes. Family pattern, yes. You want to bring in foreign experts? Yes. But no, not psychiatric.
Okay. Very well said, ma'am. And, you know, brought about a synopsis of the sexual predators and their tendencies and the psyche and how we should move forward. I also have with me Advocate Manaswi Thapar. And Advocate Thapar, how do we, you know, find a solution to this menace to our society? As Dr. Jayanti said, that the cases continue to languish in courts. There are a lot of loopholes in our judiciary, in our law, that allow for these rapists, these criminals to find ways to delay the capital punishment, as happened in the Nirbhaya case. Can there be rectifications made?
On the law point, I don't think there is any rectification required. On the implementation part and on the judicial procedural part, there could be some kind of speed which should be attached right now. In the 21st century, when we are living, we cannot have a decade long period given to rape accused anymore. We have to be fast track and we have to be fastest track in these kind of issues. Why do I say that? Is because the society's understanding and society's pain for once a rape incident happens, the entire country cries. There is hue and cry around it. But after a month's gap, people will start forgetting that this kind of rape actually happened. So now there has to be a fast track thing, wherein in 3 months the courts give their judgment and the trial is completed, because it's an open and shut case in such kind of scenarios. So these things have to be done on a fast track method. India has moved a long way from 1972 Mathura case to 2012 Nirbhaya's case and 2018 Kathua's case. Every time there has been implementation and evolution of rape laws in our country, which has evolved, and it's good for the country. As large as our country, as democratic as our country, evolution of laws is good. But right now, with this kind of Kolkata incident, I think it is time to look at the speed of it. The speed is very much important in this particular case. Why? The victim's family needs justice immediately. The society needs to know that this has happened, and now this is what the judiciary has done. This is what our political parties have implemented our laws for our nation. And there is where we can see implementation. The fear of any accused before they enter into the crime of rape, that fear should be there. That if I do this, I would be, I can go up to the crime could lead me to a capital punishment. I could leave my 10, 20 years of my youth or whatever age I am there would be behind the bars, but that fear is not there.
Yeah, but also the fear may not be there because these culprits, these perpetrators, most of the time end up getting safeguarded by a number of loopholes. Like I said, sometimes they're not even caught. They just go scot-free. The enforcement agencies, I don't know, because of negligence, lackadaisical attitude, no motivation to do their job, are not even able to catch these culprits.
Now, you're very right when you say that, because this is what our past has been. Specifically, if we talk about a heinous crime like rape has been there. So now if we talk about moving forward and making India rape free, right now we are known as the rape capital of the world, and removing our name from there, it would require a huge amount of task, and that task would require the speed, the fast trackness that has to come out in that particular factor. What happens here is the investigation officer in 10 years or 5 years would be changed. There would be an entire new body who would be investigating the case. The judges would change. If we have a special, extremely fast track court which deals into such kind of cases where the deadline is 3 + 3, 3 months plus 3 months, there cannot be further extensions. Only then we would achieve such kind of a...
Yeah, but like I said, the job of the judiciary comes much later. It is the law enforcement agencies, the police, that have to do their job. And even before that, when it comes to a number of checks and balances that have to be put in place to avert such an incident like what has happened in the rape and murder of this trainee doctor. Like, had there been ensured that there was enough patrolling that was happening at night, had it been ensured that there were CCTV cameras, had it been ensured that there were police and security guards that have been put in place, had it been ensured that the law and order agencies were doing their job, had it been ensured that the medical agencies, the principal, they were all taking care and ensuring that the women in the hospital were safeguarded, this incident could have been very easily averted.
If any one agency or any one particular person in this particular incident would have done their job properly, this incident would have been avoided. None of these agencies or people were present during that particular time. That's the sad part of what is happening. Where were the CCTVs which could have stopped? Who was the person looking into it? Who was the security guard there? None were present. So that's why such incidents are happening. So on an overall picture, there could be something which we can do it. But on something which can be done immediately is the mandate of the judiciary. They can just take it up, and I think the Supreme Court is in cognizance of this matter. And I think the Supreme Court is heavily on West Bengal government on this particular aspect also. So the mandate has to come. Right now, I was just reading an article wherein Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, is trying to create a bill for capital punishment for rapists. So these kind of things are happening. I don't want to take it on a political tangent, but I want to take up on a social, very social system wherein how do we protect our girls? How do we protect our daughters and sisters? How do we create that system? That system is not there. Having said that with heavy heart, the system is not there. This can only come when all the agencies are properly synced. This particular crime cannot be tolerated. It has to be India policy wherein rape cannot be tolerated in our country. But how do we do that? The problem is this should not be a political incident that this happened in Kolkata. That's why we are aware of it. No, anywhere rape should not be tolerated. And this can only happen. The most easy, simplest way is that don't let the memory of people be lost in a case. So that can happen if the courts are very fast tracked. As a lawyer, I know it's very difficult. It's a huge task for the judiciary. But if we create that system, we would be the first in the world, and we can create a rape-free country in the world. So that is what the mandate should be, and that's what.
Gautam Mukherjee, let's hear it from you as well. Now, it's unfortunate that these campaigns that we are carrying out, the psychologists, the doctors who are the students, whatever they're demanding, their voices are being drowned. And it is the political parties who are fighting it out and using this as a pretext for political mileage, for political vendetta, to score brownie points. Now, how do we tackle this? For example, when Mamata Banerjee says, goes on a tirade, steps onto the streets, is rallying, is shouting slogans and saying that the option of political capital punishment should be ensured, should be enshrined in law, without thinking about what could be the consequences of it, without thinking if this is a practical way of averting sexual harassment, of averting rapes and murders. How do we then ensure that these politicians don't overtake, sabotage and hijack the actual incident that has taken place, the actual revolt, the movement that has gained traction?
Well, as far as the West Bengal incident goes, it has many layers to it. One is the safety of doctors, nurses, medical staff, which is sorely lacking. The Supreme Court has recognized that. The CISF will in future guard this particular hospital, RG Kar, and there is a task force sitting down, working out methodology for the safety of medical staff all over the country. So, in a sense, this is something which was a big gap in the way the doctors are protected. Some doctors are attacked by patients' families. If anything goes wrong, this is, of course, a rape and a murder, and a heinous one at that. So one part is the doctors. The other part is a huge nexus of corruption and profiteering from hospitals and their activities, the drugs, the cadavers, the body parts. It goes on and on. And so that is another issue in which apparently it reaches very high to the top of the government. So that is another thing that's happening in Bengal and possibly elsewhere, but it is pretty clear that it's happening in Bengal and in this particular hospital, and perhaps in other government hospitals over there, we don't know. Third is a general breakdown of law and order, which has caused, it has been happening time and again for different reasons, electoral, partisan politics, and in each of these instances, the police has been acting like a extended arm of the TMC rather than as an independent, if not an independent, because it comes under the chief minister and the home minister, which in this instance is the same person.
Take a look at the larger picture over here. Yes, this is a rape and murder that has happened in Kolkata. There's outrage across the country over it. But again, when we talk about the security of women, when we talk about the security of doctors, which government hospital can come out and say that yes, we have our medical agencies which have created committees, there are guards in place, there are security protocols that are ensured, movement of women doctors are surveilled at any given point of time, especially at night. When it comes to checking and screening of people who enter into the hospital is ensured that there are no untoward elements that come, antisocial elements that are allowed inside the hospital. I don't think a single government hospital could pass all these criteria.
No, you're right. They don't have them. Not even the private hospitals have them. Nurses are under attack. Doctors are under attack. Other medical staff are under attack. But possibly some good will come out of this heinous situation where some processes and protocols are being put in place for the future. If they are adhered to and if they are enforced, then there will be some degree of security for medical people. Otherwise, they are themselves saying, look, we are busy trying to save lives. And if our lives are under threat, and if our female staff is being treated as attack meat, then how are we expected to function? So, there are wheels within wheels in this whole thing. And one of the things in terms of punishment, the Nithari people, there's a owner of the flat and his servant, they killed many children, but they were let off by the courts for lack of evidence. At length, after many years of trial, they were there as under trials, but they were let go because the police and other agencies could not prove their case. Now, this happens again and again and again. So you need special courts for heinous crimes against women and a simple set of rules that have to be enforced and decisions have to be arrived at in a time-bound manner, perhaps 3 months. Now, unless that is done, the whole thing is a travesty of justice. And it has happened almost more times than not. When we talk of, you started off by saying convicted rapists, they're fairly rare on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of 100 accused, maybe 2, if you're lucky, are convicted after 20 years or 15 years or some such. It is our medical system is wide open, and our legal system is sorely lacking and overburdened. This is a fact of life, and certain criminal elements take advantage of this.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.